Right, Graham, you're in a time machine and you get to travel back and do whatever you want in regards to making one change to any event in the past in college football. What would you do?
So there's a handful of things that I think would really benefit the Oklahoma program. I think these days most Oklahoma fans would rather see Brent Venables than Mike Stoops pacing the sidelines or up in the press box calling our defense and little things like that. But I guess if I was going to fix one thing, it would be that Oklahoma had won the 2008 national championship game against the Florida Gators, in which most Oklahoma fans today would agree that they were probably the more talented team. They were starting Sam Bradford at quarterback and had a really good chance to win that game. And of course, Sam Bradford never won a title in Norman, which is mind-blowing to a lot of people. But I think that if we could reverse the outcome of that game, first of all, you wouldn't see the decline that the program experienced in the first years of the 2010s. And second of all, I mean, we'd be sitting at 8 national championships, and I think that the program would be even more respected than it is right now today because we haven't won a national championship since the year 2000. I mean, we have kids that we're recruiting right now that were babies the last time Oklahoma won a national championship, and pretty soon we'll get to the point where they weren't even born yet. We might be there already. So I think that had we won that game, Oklahoma would just be, I don't know, that much more relevant, that much more part of it. And of course, we would have won a championship more recently than Texas, which would make me feel better personally.
Yeah, that rivalry always plays into the decision process or the thinking and the mindset. And what's interesting about your evaluation there is the stigma that comes in football more than any other sport, and it holds true in the NFL and in college football, the stigma of getting to the game and losing. It's almost better to win 10 games, go to a decent bowl game, win that, and you're a top 10 team, you're number 8 in the country, and you had a nice season and everybody feels good about where the program stands rather than getting to the big game. And I knew I would have laid a couple bucks on you naming either the Florida, the LSU, or the USC national championship game since the one you won against Florida State in 2000. So you go with a more recent one, if that's a good play. And obviously you would have knocked off a Florida team from the SEC. And that would, yes, I think even though that's almost 10 years ago, that would play a huge factor into the perception of Oklahoma football and Bob Stoops' coaching track record, that I think the perception is skewed way off center of what it is in regards to. There's a thought that he always loses the big game and always loses postseason games, and that's not the case. But on the big stage, the last 3 times on the biggest of stages, yeah, it hasn't gone Oklahoma's way.
Exactly. I mean, isn't that Bob Stoops' whole deal is, now we can use that big game Bob nickname to just, basically mock him for having lost those games. And I think if he were 2-2 in national championship games, that would be a lot different than 1-3. So that would have been great to have won that game.
Yeah, I try to center the argument, and certainly winning conference championships means something to me. And I think even despite the change in mindset in this college football playoff era, and before that the BCS, that's everything. Winning college football conference championships should mean something, and Oklahoma wins a ton of big games to put themselves in play and in position to do that most of the time. All right, Graham Dudley from Crimson and Cream Machine playing along with what he would change about college football here on Mark Rogers TV. Graham, we always appreciate the conversation.
I had more to say about that than I expected, but thanks for having me on, Mark.